Okay, so we are live. Hello to my friend Karim Samani, who is otherwise known as the chairman. Thank you for joining me today, sir.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Cameron,
No problem at all. So this is the Healthy Business Leader show. So I think it's episode 6. So apparently when you get to episode 22, you're in the top 1% of podcasts.
Oh, thank you.
No one goes over it.
I'm so humble.
We're getting there, mate. We're getting there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem at all. I'm glad to have you on. So I'm going to introduce you as the chairman, and I'm going to let you tell us, the viewer and myself, a bit more about yourself and what you do, because I don't want to kind of sell you short, essentially.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Karim Samani, and people now know me as the chairman because we design ergonomic chairs, actually. So, my background is corporate finance. I'm a qualified CMA accountant, but I left my corporate world in 2018 to start my own company, which was called at the time Tech Disinfect. I found a little gap in the market, and that was to disinfect IT devices in the workplaces to protect employees' health and well-being, because how many times or how often do we think about disinfecting our IT devices for well-being reasons? And I will let you answer this in your own head. So that was my purpose to start the company. And but pandemic hit, and all the workplaces got shut, and we lost a lot of contracts. And that's where I started well-being and ergonomics. But if you see the link between the two businesses, we are workstation experts. That's what we call ourselves. So not only now we disinfect IT devices, we help businesses and individuals to have a better posture through designing the product, designing the workstation, and give them an ergonomic advice so they can improve their own quality of life in the workplace and at home.
Cool, perfect. See, I'm glad you did that and not me. That sold you short. Yeah, you've done a brilliant job. So, there's a lot of crossover in what we do, because obviously, you fix the ergonomics of the workstation, which essentially most of us. I'm from a fitness background.
Yes.
I'm sat in a desk all day long, and I'm aware of what can happen to the body, areas of pain. So, you're fixing it at the kind of source. What we do is we look at the people a bit further down the line that are starting to get all the pain and the broken stuff, right? So there's a lot of synergy with what we do, certainly. But I wanted to ask you, Karim, because you mentioned there about the corporate finance that you were in beforehand. Tell us a bit about your journey, the struggles you've had in business, the struggles that you've had, within your kind of own personal health and fitness, and tell us a bit more about that journey. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, so thing is, look, starting a business is challenging. Everybody thinks it's very easy. It's not easy at all, but it's how we can make it work, right? You create your personal branding to people to trust you, to who you are. They come to you for advice, and they respect you to what advice you give it to them, and you respect them as well. So what they have to tell you. So is a listening to them to find out what their problem areas are, and then you give them the best advice for them to live a better quality of life. Right. This is how I see it. And yes, it was very struggling because thing is, especially when you have the new concept in the market, the concept is not new. It's you raising awareness of something new. For example, the tech disinfect side. When we talk about physically disinfecting IT devices, not many people think about it, but it's a necessity. It's very important. But for us to raise an awareness and corporate and businesses to understand the value from it, it was very, very hard, right? So yes, it was hard, but then we worked through it. We won a lot of contracts. We worked with a lot of FM companies as well. And then the pandemic hit, right? And all the workplaces go shut. So we lost nearly about 90% of that business. But I never closed down the business. I'm an entrepreneur. I think outside the box. I start something new. And that's where I started well-being and ergonomics. I just thought, how can I keep myself within the same expertise that I have? So tech disinfect and well-being and ergonomics, they work hand in hand, and they each other complement each other all the time. So yes, again, to start the well-being in ergonomics wasn't easy. It wasn't just like that we sell chairs or sit-stand desk or monitor stand. It's like what these products are doing to people's health and well-being, how it can improve it. It has to be right. The value has to be right. right? The product has to be right. It must be ergonomic. So I went in a course to learn about office ergonomics. It's not like I got up one day, set up the business, and then good to go. It doesn't work like this. And especially for me as a person, unless I use something myself that has improved my health and well-being, I would not recommend to anyone else. And I think this was the right message, which really is respected by the LinkedIn community and the community outside, that I'm sending the message by using the product myself and then saying, I have used it, it worked for me, let's see if it works for you as well.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like, we've all heard the story of, I could tell you a story about us with COVID. We had very, very similar kind of experience to you. Lost a lot of money very quickly. But I think the entrepreneur in us gets us to chop and change a little bit. And it sounds like the working from home, like revolution, really was that part of the driving force that moved you into ergonomics? Or
yes, because what we noticed, a lot of companies didn't do the DSE assessment for people working from home, and it's by law that the businesses must do it.
DSEs, what does that stand for?
It's a display screen equipment assessment. It's by Health and Safety Executive. It's a HSC compliance that the people working from home with the display equipment, they must do the DSE assessment. And it's to reduce any kind of MSD or MSK issues. People working from the bed, working from kitchen and dining table chairs, that's not good for them. Yeah. And thing is, in the last 3 months or 4 months, I've been to the 4 court cases where employees got a heavy compensation just because employers failed to carry out their duty of health and well-being towards their employees, and they got compensated. So it's for us is how we can raise an awareness to protect employees, to protect employers, and protect businesses. And so that's where we come in. We give them the right advice, and it just, again, as I said, it's just to protect everyone.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of a couple of your shots of different kind of really bad kind of setups, right? But I remember seeing some friends that kind of going from, they were kind of designers, software designers, and they went from their plush kind of comfortable office in Shoreditch with all the kind of comfortable chairs to working in a 1-bedroom flat, all kind of charged over the top of a little kind of desk and stuff like that. And they were complaining of back pain and neck pain within the space of a couple of days. Yeah.
And you know what, Cameron, you work in the same industry. It's kind of like the industries as us, but from the different perspective. You must have seen people when they work with a bed posture, what happens to their health and well-being, right?
Yeah.
I'm working I'm talking with you while standing up on my standing desk. Actually, I feel more power rather than sitting down and trying to deliver something or doing a presentation or doing the podcast. Yeah. Because I have more energy, I can breathe better, my posture is good. I feel 100 times much better doing this rather than doing this sitting down.
Yeah.
Right? Because thing is, my body is open, I'm standing straight, I'm looking straight. I'm not getting any kind of pain, but I got more movement in my hand. I can move easily, and that creates a more passion when delivering. And this is something I wrote about it this morning in my LinkedIn post about the posture. And this guy, he's talking about how vocal changes or how health and well-being improves once you're delivering a presentation is standing up rather than sitting down.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 second, mate. I'm going to put this in the podcast. I'm just trying to open the door. 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Just on the podcast. Hey, Karim. This is what we call live. We're good to go, my friend. Cool. So back to the kind of what you mentioned about the COVID thing. We saw a massive spike in neck pain, 100%. So kind of round the back to the side of people's necks, lower back pain, upper back pain, mainly because people were starting to crunch forward. Their pecs were getting mega tight. They kind of the back muscles were starting to become loose and stretched. And these are, unfortunately, a lot of the people that had problems were people that weren't necessarily training at the same time to keep themselves strong and secure. So we saw a massive spike in that. And again, that was an opportunity for us because we had more people contacting us saying, hey, I've put weight on, which was a massive thing in COVID because everyone was sat down, everyone was inactive, everyone was drinking too much, not everyone, but most people were drinking too much, causing this kind of getting this increase in back and neck pain. And it was a big problem for people. So did you see the same kind of spike with
Yeah, let me show you this. This is the spine that I always keep it on my desk.
Right. It's not an old friend of yours, is it?
I know. I know it does actually. So if I look at the spine actually in here, that's where this is L1 to L5. This is the lumbar here. There's a gap here, as you can see.
Yeah.
This is where from L1 to L5, a lot of people suffer from this.
Yes.
And then neck pain in here, right in here. So it's only because sometimes the screen is not set right, or the chairs are very, very badly designed chairs. Actually, I won't even call them ergonomic chair, because ergonomic chair never give you the back pain. They design you, comfort you rather than. So that's where we have seen a lot of people suffer from this side. And you know what? Then it travels up to the coccyx here, and a lot of people suffer from this area as well.
Yeah.
And these areas of pain is the ones you go to the chiropractor, you go to physiotherapy, you try to improve it, it does. But then when you come back home, or well, let's say when people come back home, they're again sitting on the wrong chairs. So the problem will always come back.
Yes.
So for us, was as a business, we were trying to find out how we can help people to understand the root cause. So they don't have to keep going back to the chiropractor to correct something and come back and doing completely wrong. So it's how we can improve that. And that's where our demand for our products and services really going up, you know.
So it's more of a proactive response, which proactive is making sure that everything you do on a day-to-day basis.
And the thing is how we can make it more sustainable as well. Right? That was the thing, that how we can design a product, or we can provide a product which people, for the time being, when working from home, they can use it there, but they can take it back to the work as well if the workspace is back on again, right? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's a business asset.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you generally find that people were having problems because their business wasn't actually supplying them with new chairs, with a new desk, right?
The thing is, the biggest gap that we have found, or the kind of, I would use the word fault, businesses gave them a budget of £200, £300, something like this. Please go and buy something. Now that something could be anything, could be wrong. How do they know it?
Yeah.
So we work with the companies where they spend like the £300, £400, they give it to people. People went to different places, bought something, a chair which thought they would be fine, but in the 2 months' time, it's giving them more problem.
Yeah.
So that's where we came in actually, and we were advising businesses like, look, this is the right kind of product. You know, you have the tall people, you have the short people in the organization. That one product, because the adjustability in the product is more sustainable rather than buying something very static.
And what should you look out for? Like, what are the kind of 3 or 4 key points you should look at with your setup?
So first thing, it has to be ergonomic, right? I work on the 4 core values with every client that I work. The number one, it must be ergonomic, it must be sustainable, it must be smart, and it must be safe, right? So whenever we design an office space or workstation, I would say, or working with the people working from home, these are the core 4 values that I always work on, because they are all important, they're interlinked.
Do you want to break them down a bit for us so we understand?
Yeah, ergonomic. So ergonomic, when we talk about ergonomics, so the chair has to be right. It must be ergonomic chair, not a gaming chair or not any other chair. The padding has to right. It must be adjustable. It must have the lumbar support. There must be armrest, right? Then again, use a sit-stand desk rather than a static desk actually, so you can mix your time standing up and sitting down, because that is very good for the overall health and well-being. The monitor must be set to the right height so we don't get any neck and shoulder problem, right? So it's this kind of thing we take into account. When we talk about sustainability, so it's about let's look at not now a year or 2 years. Let's look at the next 10 years. What is going to do this product to your body?
Yeah.
Right? I'm aging. I'll be 45 in December, right? If I look after my back from the very young age, I will have the better prospective future, I would say this way, because a lot of people in the gaming, they sit on their gaming chair for God knows 8 hours. This is the young age, they don't feel it, but as they're becoming older, they may get kypopsis, which is like they may be lean forward like this or something like this, or the hunch over posture. But how we can stop this from the very young age? When we talk about the smartness, so for example, I use dual monitor arm, right? So I can set the screen to the right height and right depth, right? And it has got the built-in docking station. So for me, it's literally plug and play. I don't have to mess about with the cables or anything like this. It's just a plug and play, right? Again, I got a small desk, but it looks so big because I don't have any cable mesh, anything like this. Now talk about the safety. I mean, you have seen there's so many dangling cables under the table, right? I personally absolutely hate it, only because it's just not good from the health and safety reason. Working from home, kids can pull the cable.
Yeah, end up with a screen on the head.
Strain on the head. You know, we have seen a disastrous workstation setup when people are working from home. So it's not only mother or father safety, it's about the kids' safety as well.
Yeah.
So these are the 4 core values when we design a workstation in the workplace or at home. So
how does that work? So I'm just kind of thinking about your process. So say, for example, I contact you as a small business owner, and there's 3 of us in the office, right? What are the next steps to kind of work with you? So
the first step is always do an audit, right? If it's a workplace, it's a big workplace, when we go and do an audit. So I take you back on sustainability. We as a company, we are very passionate about, reducing carbon footprint and environmental impact. So we just say, right, okay, what we can save or repurpose and only buy or install something which is going to benefit the existing design of a workstation. So that's a very, very key part of it, right? And again, as I said, we look at the safety aspect of it, how people are going to use it, not now, but in the next 10 years, right? How the employees going to get benefit from it. And we look into the way how we can reduce the absenteeism in the workplace, make people more health conscious, increase their productivity, reduce absenteeism and presenteeism at the workstation.
Yeah, and those are the words when you speak, because we deal with a lot of CEOs, right? So we speak to a lot of the similar guys that you do, and unfortunately, most of them care about money. That's the thing they care about, right? So when they hear things like, neck pain, back pain, whatever, but when you start talking about it's costing them money, suddenly their ears start pricking up. So do you want to tell us a bit more? I know you've got some killer stats for me. Give us some stats on absenteeism.
So if we look in the Office for National Stats, and this is gonna mesmerize you, these numbers. And these numbers are driven not by me, not by you. It's coming from the Office of National Stats. They collect the data from every single organization in the UK, right? What they're saying, the top, I think, let me pull that number on my screen.
Yeah, go for it.
And
I'll put you on the spot there.
Yeah, no.
We can wait, no problem at all. Just had a little thought actually when you was talking about the kind of old age posture. I mean, the amount of people that you'll see that are in their kind of 70s and 80s, and they just buckled forward, right, from the amount of time they've been sat at the desk. That's a real problem.
Can I share my screen with you to show you that, or?
Yeah, I think so. There should be a little button down the bottom saying share screen. It's like a little arrow in a box.
Yeah. Close this. The entire screen is share.
Got it.
Can you see this graph now?
Got it, my friend. Yep.
Right. So this is the graph. Again, the data is driven from Office for National Stats, right?
Yeah.
And what they're saying, so this is the latest data from 2022. If I click on that, and if you look at the bar chart here, the top 5 or 6 absenteeism reasons. The first is the minor illnesses, 29.3 million days was lost, right? Followed by the mosquito-lethal problem, 10.5 million days lost. And surprisingly, it's above the mental health condition, which is 7.9 million days, right? And then you got the condition like the respiratory. Again, if people don't have the right posture, they do develop the respiratory problems as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So what are these numbers telling us? That in the workplace, if I have to ask you or someone else in an organization, what is the biggest reason of absenteeism in the workplace? People will jump straight away on the mental health. I don't do this. I just gonna have a look at this number and I'm gonna say, right, okay, you telling me something, but but the data collected is telling me something completely different. It means we are not addressing the root cause. What we're doing is jumping on the bandwagon.
Yes. And it's kind of like, we all know those people that are, I've got friends, for example, a little older than me, but they're always on painkillers, always, because they've
Always
got
on the painkillers.
neck pain. And sometimes they wake up, and we see a lot of issues where people will kind of struggle with bad mobility, then they'll get neck pain, and then the neck pain then moves into migraines. And the migraines means literally they're taking painkillers and they can't work because they feel like shit. They actually can't physically work, right?
Yeah. And you know what this data just I was showing you? This is just like the very high level detail. I got a gold dust at the moment with me because I'm an accountant. I love my numbers. I've driven from that data. I've driven the same data by region, by age, by type, by job role. And what I've seen, the shift is going up in the young generation, because a lot of young generation is in the gaming and they suffer from tech neck.
Yes.
They're on the phones all the time like this. They're on the gaming stations. They do everything. So that number is going up. And that's where we got the problem, because that young generation, if they start developing the mosquito lethal issues from the young age, come to our age, and then you find out they won't be able to work.
They can't go to work. They'll be an agony then. It's scary actually, because I've got little ones, right? And they're growing up into a different world than what you did, especially. Me less so. I mean, we had mobile phones when I was about 16, 17, something like that. Exactly. It wasn't from like the age of 6 or 7, right? I mean, even my little ones now, they're always about the iPad and they're 6, right? So you can even see at such a young age, they're already in this kind of position, right, where they're sat forward. Yeah. So, I mean, we're very much about keeping people strong and fit and healthy and resilient. So if you can get in the gym and you can offset some of that by the movements that you do, hats off. If you're someone that doesn't do that, you're weak and you're not strong in specific places, and you do your gaming or you're always on the iPad, you're going to have pain pretty young, right?
Yeah, and you know what? That's why I feel when we are showing you the bar graph, that's an interesting thing is the respiratory is in the top 5.
Yes.
And it's because when people work with the wrong posture, they work like this and they're compressing all their organs. So of course, we can't breathe better. And that's creating a lot of health issues to people, but they don't know it.
Yeah. And then you've got the respiratory thing of, squashing your lungs down. That's linked to stress. That lack of oxygen is linked to mental health issues because you're not getting the oxygen into your body. And we all know, when you feel stressed, the best thing to do is to breathe. When you're sat in a compressed situation, you can't actually physically get the oxygen in. So it's kind of, again, back to what we do. It's not one thing. It's this holistic issue where there's one big problem over here, which is, okay, more tech, more computers, more gaming, worse posture. But the knock-on effect of that is massive. And if we look at this on a bigger scale, which clearly you are, because you're kind of the man, you're the chairman, right? You're on this all the time. There's a wave of problems coming, right? And within our industry, within my industry, obesity is the issue that is coming. I talk about all the time on LinkedIn, and I get lambasted for talking about it. But I'm telling you now, there's a massive problem, and it looks like this postural thing with what you guys is coming as well, right?
Yeah. Look, the thing is, what we have found, nobody wants to hear the truth.
Yes.
This is the thing. But for you and me as a businesses, and being honest to our industry and our expertise, we have to say it. Yeah. Because people may find it harsh that we are openly talking about it, but in the background, it will help them. And this is something they need to have a look. Yeah. They need to look at the bigger picture of it, right? Live a healthy life. You wake up productive, and you go to sleep productive.
Yeah.
Right. It's how you design your day.
And back to this awareness thing, right? Because you're raising the awareness of this problem, right? And I can see in 10 years' time this being in Westminster that we've got this massive problem. Young kids can't work because they're all in pain. We was talking about this 10 years ago, right? So it's about, if someone watches this video and goes, do you know what? Actually, I've seen my kid do this all the time, or I can see my 15-year-old do it. It's that awareness. Then they go, let's start to address this problem, right?
But look, I say this from the parents' perspective as well. If they can demonstrate to their kids, actually, look, I'm working with the right posture, or I'm going to the gym, I'm doing this for my health.
Yes.
Kids will pick on that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a very important message. Kids would not learn this in the school, but they will learn it at home by seeing the parent doing it.
Yeah.
Or the friends doing it. And I think that's where we need to concentrate on sending the message to the parent do the right thing, the kids will do the right things.
Absolutely. And it's that inspirational part, right? It's like, if you're back to kind of what we do and the parallels between what you talk about, what we talk about. If you are a dad or a mum and you work all the hour God sends, you get home, you're exhausted, you eat rubbish food, you drink beer in front of your kids, they see that and they're inspired by that.
Napping in front of the kids.
Same thing, right? So if you come home but you're energized, you're strong, you're fit, you're healthy, you're full of kind of vitality, the kids feed off that, right? And they're like, I want to be like my mum, I want to be like dad.
Even, you know what? Look, as I said, we talk about the harsh truth, right? Look, please do this, please do this. Do this, start with, not like make a massive difference straight away. It will never happen. Let's take like the 5 minutes. When you come home, even if you shut it or whatever, just go out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Take your kids with you, 5 minutes. You start with the 5 minutes and gradually work on this 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. And once you're in the routine, then you start with something, but the start has to be happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to kind of change the angle a little bit, because I'm interested to talk to you about the kind of specific industries that you see, that you deal with, that are kind of looking at this issue more proactively, and those that maybe don't want to talk about those that aren't. But to give you an example, I would say tech, fintech, so that new kind of financial technology industries that's popped up over the last 10 years. From a fitness point of view, we see those guys invested more in their teams, his memberships, his kind of proactive classes, stuff like that, to keep them fit and healthy. An industry that isn't doing that is insurance. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
They got more money, right?
More money, yeah, but they want to spend it on their staff. I know I'm generalising, and I know people watching this going, that's not true. In general, I find that. So what do you find within, industries that are doing a good job, industries that are doing a bad job?
Do you know what? We got the clients from all industries, right? We didn't see, because look, everybody need the right chair or desk and stuff like this in the workplace. They can't work without it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So but the thing is, the technology sector, again, we got loads of clients, is growing now.
Yes.
Right. Because people now working from home, so the technology wise, they don't need to have a full spec office. They can work from home, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we got some clients, they got 200 staff working from home, all of them.
Wow.
Right? Because they are spread all over the world rather than just in the UK. Again, because the establishment, the company establishment is in the UK, all the law applies for the UK.
Right. That's where your main office is. That's where the law applies. Right.
Yeah. So that's what it happened. So again, to answer your question, we work with the client from all sector rather than one specific one, right?
Right.
But again, as I say, the technology sector is growing all the time.
Yeah.
Right. People are spending a lot of time on their workstations, actually, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're on the computer, right? They're stuck. Some industries, they're still out meeting people, doing that kind of thing, where if you're in tech generally, you're going to be sat programming, creating software, stuff like that, whether it's at home or in the office, right?
So, for employers, for the employees working from home, what we do online wellbeing events, actually.
Okay, cool.
That's where we talk about nutrition, we talk about ergonomics, we talk about the DSC, we talk about how they can be more productive at the workstation, actually, what stretches they can do, how they can mix their time standing up, sitting down, even if they don't have the standing desk, but they can take a phone call standing up. Use the techniques like the Pomodoro technique, or use the technique like the 20-20-20 technique, do something that will enhance your life at the workstation. So that's what we do, right? So we design well-being events in the workplace, which is like the offline physical events, and we do offline, which is again online, actually, online and offline both.
So just to pick up on something you said, because again, it's something that we kind of recommend with most of our people. What we find is that when people work in an office, again, I'm generalising, everyone's different, but sometimes people don't think I can actually do stuff not sat at my desk. For example, if you've got a team meeting that is an audio meeting, right?
Yeah.
You can go for a walk and have the meeting with your member staff, right? There's no reason to say that you have to be stuck at the computer. Why not go out and get a 15-minute walk while you do it?
Yeah. Best way. You said the right thing. This is so important. And you know what I said to people? Do stretches. No matter where you are. People may think you are weirdo, doing this. I'm not joking. People think they are. But you do it for your own health and well-being. And you know what? One thing, you know it, Cameron. I know it. If we don't look after ourselves, no one else will. No. This is the truth.
Yeah.
No one else will. And your health is your wealth.
You have to, there's more and more information coming out about this, and it's good to see. It's good to see, self-care being more in the kind of in the spotlight. I do kind of worry that it's in the spotlight, but not a lot of people are listening to it. But again, we'll reiterate it on this call because I know we're both passionate about this. If you can't spend 10 minutes on yourself every day, then life isn't really worth living. You have to do something for yourself, whether that's a walk, it's some stretching, it's having a healthy meal, whatever that is. You have to do one thing every day as a minimum for yourself. I know that you may have a good job, getting paid a good salary, and you feel like you've got to do more and more and more and more and more for that business, right? But that will break you. You need to do something for yourself. Yeah. It sounds like we're on the same page here.
Yeah. You and me and people can go to the best mental health expert. They can come out with the best techniques, but until you action it, nothing will happen. Mm-hmm. Nothing will happen, thing is, I love gardening, and I found this doing gardening, and I talk about this on LinkedIn all the time because I love it. And you know what it does to my health and well-being. And I'm encouraging people, but not telling them to do it, but by posting about it. Like, look, it has helped me to become better at what I do, and for my health and well-being and mental health, it's good for me to being out and doing things rather than just stuck in the workstation and just trying to do things there.
Yeah, if you're working from home, like a lot of people are, right? Your garden's here, so you're going spending 15 minutes in there having a cup of tea and pottering around is a healthy thing, right?
Absolutely. But the thing is, look, again, I go for a walk to the local news agent to just buy a milk or something.
Yeah.
I don't take my car. I just walk.
Yeah.
It's a 15-20 minutes walk. In the car, it's 2 minutes, but for me, it's a 15-minute walk. Yeah. But you know what? The thing is, what I realized about going for a walk is so powerful that when you're walking, and I don't take my phone with me when I go for a walk.
Good tip.
What I do take with me is my pen and paper. Right? And believe me or not, when I lost 90% of my contracts for the tech disinfect, this is what exactly I did. I wanted to do something, establish a new business that I can run from home. And that's where the well-being and ergonomics was established in my brain. When I went for a 2-hour walk, I went with a pen and paper. I wrote down every single thing or ideas that I can do. And when I came home, I had the brand name. I knew exactly what I'm going to be doing actually.
Amazing.
If I would have gone with my phone, it won't have happened because it's too distracting, this phone.
Yeah.
Pen and paper, traditional way, it bloody works.
Yeah,
honestly.
I totally agree.
And this is what I do. And thing is, even if nowadays when I go for a walk, again, I take the small post-it note with me. Because the minute I'm thinking about writing a post about LinkedIn or doing my social media post or what next I'm going to be doing, I just write this down. And you know what? Once I write it down with my own hand, it becomes more concrete because I wrote it down myself.
Yeah.
This become my mission. This is my vision. Right? If it's in the phone, in the notes or something, it get disappeared. It's there, but I get distracted by using this, everything.
Yeah. I'm a notebook. I'm old school. I like notebooks. It's like when it's in the phone.
Look, this pen, paper, and pen is the most powerful thing you have in your hand.
Yeah.
If you get any idea, just write it down.
Yeah.
And there is no stupid idea. There is no stupid idea. People think, oh no, this may not work. Well, I am saying this. I'm not tested with people.
Yeah. Yeah. You got. When you do it on the phone, it becomes a distraction because you won't just look at the notes. You'll look at LinkedIn or Facebook or something, and suddenly you're off that idea. And it's when those ideas, like you did with wellbeing and ergonomics, right? When those ideas come to your head, you have to get them down because you're going to forget them quite quickly.
Yeah, write it down. Honestly, the best thing is to write it down.
Yeah. You know, tell us a bit about your. I know everyone loves the regime in the morning thing, right? Well, tell us a bit more about how you keep yourself fit, healthy, how you kind of keep yourself mentally fit as well.
Right. Okay. So I get up every day 4:30 in the morning. So I'm a morning person.
Machine, man.
Yeah. The thing is, I go for my run. I go for my walk or cycling. That's the one activity I do every single morning for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to run a marathon. Right. I'm not going to be like going for like the 500 miles. It's just because what I can do every morning to take the fresh air inside me.
Yeah.
No distraction, nobody's around me, nobody's bothering me, no obstruction. I'm with myself, with the nature, and I'm receiving all this. The best thing, right? I don't need to run like the 500 miles an hour. No, I can have the small run, I can slow run, I can walk, I can cycle. Nobody's around me. This is the best thing I do. When I come home, I will have I will do my meditation for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Again, I want to focus. Right, what I want to achieve for today, right? I will have my shower, then I will have my breakfast, I will write my LinkedIn post, and this is how my day started. And the reason I do that is because I don't know how my day will end. We are the business people. We have sometimes clients want to change the meeting from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Everything changes. We can't lose the business. So that's why I do everything in the morning. And that's just me personally, It can be different for people, but at least you, me, and people are doing some activity in the day, regardless of the time, is good for their health and well-being.
I think you've hit on something magical there, which is morning training. I find most people I speak to, I say most, 99% of people I talk to that are busy, if you don't do your workout in the morning, it's not going to happen. You have to get up and do it first, because the emails are there. And another little tip, which you've kind of hit on as well, don't look at your phone. Just get up. Yeah. Get your shoes on, do your activity, whether it's meditation, it's walking, wherever it is, just do it straight away and just lower the barrier to entry. As in, don't make it hard for yourself. Don't think of 5 things you've got to do before you work out. Get up, have a double espresso, and then go.
Yes, yeah. And I'm aged, I'll be 45. I said this in the very start of the conversation. I'm 45. If I look back myself, 15 years or 20 years, right? At the age of 25, I was weighing 21 stone.
Wow.
My waist was 44.
Wow.
Right?
That's all you, Karim.
I'm 5'7".
My man. Choof. Okay, you're a big lad.
I'm aged. And you know what? Look, I'm not praising myself actually. I just thought at the time, right? Okay, how can I look after my own health and well-being? Right, that was become a very, very important to me, and something I learned from my parents as well, because my mom passed away very suddenly at the age of 60, and that taught me a very big lesson. Like, life is better to live for today, not for tomorrow. And what can I do for myself today? And that was a very important message for me, right? And that's where I started changing everything. I changed my relationship with the food first. I control my portions. Rather than having a big plate or something, I can eat the same plate in the 3 different timings actually. And how can I break down? How can I train my body in a way that it knows that I'm going to feed that body, rather so it stops any kind of preservation of fat and sugar in my body? Because a lot of people, when they think about diet and food and stuff like this, they just think if they stop eating, they're going to do a lot of benefit to their body. It never happens. You know what? Those people become more fatter and more unhealthy by doing that actually.
Yeah, we find it a lot is that generally people have 2 or 3 ways to lose weight. It'll be just don't eat, go on a protein shake diet, do Weight Watchers, or do like something like Herbalife, which is, it's just crap. It's just absolute crap. The best way to do it is how you've done it, which is to control portions.
Yeah, and you know what? I love my food. I said, I come from the Indian Pakistani background. Our food is very, very rich in sense of like we use oils and stuff like this. This is how it is. but just controlling how much you consume at a time, you allow your body to basically absorb it, the nutrients and stuff like this, rather than filling it completely and creating a more problem. That's why people become obese actually, by eating too much, and their belly start expanding more and more and more. It expands. More people think they can eat more and more and more.
Do you mind me asking, you don't have to answer this, how much weight did you lose and how long did it take and how was the journey?
Oh, it was hard. It was hard to get into that mindset, like I can do that. But as I said, then it started with a 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. You start gradually rather than just going to start like that. I can do it now, smash it. And within 2 months, I will be like, the smartest man in the world. It doesn't work like that. And I just thought, right, what can I do to get myself out from the house and start doing something completely different, right? That's where I start going back to what I love to do. I love cycling. So I bought myself at the time a cycle. So I start cycling to work, right? That was a good change. Then I love playing badminton, right? So I start going play badminton before I go to work. I found a small group. They like to play it. I like to play it. And that was all I was doing before I go to work. And then I start changing my relationship to the food as well at the same time. So these two things start working for me. And then I start seeing the results, that I start losing weight and stuff like this. And I just thought, now I lost it. How can I maintain it now?
That's the hard bit, right?
That's a very hard bit too. It's like, you set the level, and now how you can maintain it is exactly this. Yeah. And that's where I continue. And you know what? Don't get me wrong. I enjoy my food. I go out to eat, and stuff like this. I don't stop myself. But what I stop is like, I don't follow people. If they're eating like, a heavy meal, even if I'm sitting with them, I don't follow them. I follow what is good for my body.
Yes, you do you, right? You don't do everyone
else. You do you.
Yeah. I love that, man. I love that. Yeah. I mean, it's I didn't know that about you, that transformation. I'll maybe look out for some photos on LinkedIn of you before and after.
I'm sure. You know what? I have posted on a post about it.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Because as I said, you know what? For me, it's not being about me. It's how can I inspire other people from my journey.
Absolutely.
And that's very important. You know what? Let's say somebody is reading it, even that person doesn't want to like, comment, or interact with the post actually. But if that person can see, do you know what? If Karim can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I've done my job.
Yeah. No, good for you, man. Yeah, I've really enjoyed today. I've really enjoyed the time with you. You're inspiring. You're doing an amazing job what you do. I didn't know about the transformation, so just keep sharing them, man, because it's a problem in this country. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. So people like yourself that are sharing good information, it's just going to help change as many people as physically possible. And who knows, me and you might have a TV show together one day. We can talk more about.
You never know. You don't show the money, we will do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But listen, it was great to share some time with you, Karim. Where can people check you out? What's your website?
So my website is called Wellbeing and Ergonomics. It's just one simple two words, Wellbeing and Ergonomics, as in like AND and.
Yeah.
That's where you can check me out. Find me on LinkedIn, Karim Samani. You would not miss me because of my beard, So yes, yeah, and the fair man. And my suits and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And you know what? Before we go, look, another thing is very important to work in your personal brand as well. When you are living healthy, you have the good posture, you're confident, people like to connect with you. Yeah. They will love to interact with you. They will love to do business with you. Because you know what? Okay, imagine I'm working in the health and well-being, and I am, for example, turn up today in the podcast actually not doing what I'm passionate about doing it actually, right? What message I'm sending? I'm sending a completely wrong message about. If I can't look after myself, how can I look after my client? This is how I see it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And there's, I've got some stories for you in private about overweight personal trainers. But anyway, we'll talk about it another time. But again, thank you for your time, my friend.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
And connect with me on LinkedIn. More than happy to help and support you. If me and Cameron can help you in any way to become a better person, or you have a better life and a better health, we are more than happy to help.
Absolutely. Ditto.